Reporting Services supports three broad categories of renderers for exporting reports: soft page break renderers, hard page break renderers, and data exchange renderers. The difference between the first two is, as you might guess from the names, how the report handles page breaks and whether they're set in specific locations. The difference, quite frankly, has a bigger effect on how the user can use reports than you might expect. And then the third category lets the user extract the raw data from a report for custom analysis most usually, which gives users almost unlimited options for making use of reports and data to answer the questions they have as the basis for business decisions. Report Manager makes it remarkably easy for users to export reports and data. All I need to do is view the report. So in this case, I'll use the matrix demo. So I'm viewing a report here within Report Manager. And then I just select this option right here. And I have access to all of the formats that are made available. Now, you can customize this in some ways, but that's kind of an advanced option that I'm not going to talk about right now. For each of these formats, you'll have the option to either open or save the result, or both, possibly with further options based on your settings in Windows for the default programs used for different document and data types. So this is one place where it hooks into Windows, how Windows is configured for a particular user. So, for example, if I select PDF here as my output format, it displays the report, and then I get this box here. And this is going to happen in different ways in different browsers. But it asks, do I want to open or save matrixdemo.pdf from localhost? If I want to open it, I just click on Open. If I want to save it, I click on Save. And I also have the option of Save As and Save and Open directly. All right, in this case, I'll just click on the Open button there. And what it's going to do is open up that document in the default PDF viewer that I have installed on the local machine. And currently says it's not the default PDF viewer in my system. Sure, let's do that. Okay, and for some reason Windows is still prompting me. Maybe it's a little bit too slow on the uptake with this. But here it is. Foxit happens to be a PDF reader that I like. And so it displays this PDF file. If you have Adobe Acrobat installed as your default, it'll open it in that, any other third-party product, and so forth. All right, so that's how easy it is to export this. And then from here, I can save it to a different location. I can give it a different name, whatever it is that I want to do with that PDF file. What I'm going to do now is explore the ins and outs of the different export formats within Reporting Services. You'll also learn about the support that the different rendering formats have for various Reporting Services report features. This is really important to understand because sometimes you'll need to design a report so that it's usable in the formats that users are expected to be interested in using. Now, a nice thing about building a report, features in Reporting Services, is that reports can implement certain features based on the rendering format. So a report might have a different appearance, in fact, surprisingly, amazingly, completely different appearance, when you export it to Excel as a PDF document or in HTML. Different colors, all kinds of different stuff. So be sure to check out the Books Online topic called Interactive Functionality for Different Report Rendering Extensions, because that contains detailed information about the interactive features that each export format supports. So if you really want to be able to support your users and get the most out of the interactive features of all of the different formats, then you'll want to definitely study that topic. Because even something that seems static like a PDF file can have active links, which is considered an interactive feature. So there's a surprisingly rich variety of interactive features that you can hook into for the different export formats. The first category of renderers that I want to talk about are the soft page break renderers. These renderers include Excel and Word documents, as well as HTML and MHTML formats. And these are used primarily for viewing reports in a software application as opposed to printing them in a hard copy form. Users can, of course, also print reports from Excel, Word, and a web browser, but unless they need to manipulate or format the data for presentation, users are going to normally just be working in each format's native application. These formats insert soft page breaks in strategic locations as are needed to fit within the fluid confines of the host application. For example, the HTML viewer in Report Manager inserts page breaks whenever needed to break up the report into chunks that are largely visible on the computer screen. An Excel spreadsheet might have page breaks in sizes set by the user, which are unlikely to be the same as those within the HTML viewer. Or perhaps no page breaks at all. And then Word is going to use yet another chunk size based on the font size, margins, and page size set by the user within the document. In essence, the soft page break renderers insert page breaks to adapt the report to the application and its configuration that the user is using to view the report. 3 renderers in reporting services use these soft page breaks: Word, Excel, and HTML and MHTML. HTML and MHTML really are just a single format, essentially. Different document format, but a lot of the same properties. But MHTML is a special form of a web document that supports multiple pages within a single document. Now, a tip about all this. With most of the renderers, you can manually modify settings to change the renderer's behavior when exporting a report. The changes you make apply across all reports on the server. So you can find information about the available settings online. Microsoft documents them all within Books Online. And there are pages for SQL Server 2014, but there are links to the equivalent information for other versions as well. Okay? So there's lots of information about how to do this. In fact, just search on rsreportserver.config and you'll find all kinds of information about how to do all this. Okay, the first format that I want to talk about of the soft page break renderers is HTML documents. And specifically, I'm going to talk about the MHTML document. This stands for MIME HTML, which fully parsed stands for Multi-Purpose Internet Mail Extensions Hypertext Markup Language. Egads. For the purposes of reporting services, forget about the mail part. This is a single web page archive format that you can use to combine in a single HTML document all of the HTML code and related resources that comprise a web page. So it turns out that it's a very handy way to save a multi-page report as a single HTML file, which is in turn handy for attaching to an email message, thus the email in the name. It is a fairly basic format and doesn't carry forward interactive features that you build into a report. As with exported Word documents, you'll need to expand or unhide any parts of the report that you want to be visible in the MHTML file. I'm going to use the company orders report to show off this export format. All right, so there's the report. As you can see, it goes on for pages and pages, 16 altogether. I'll go back to the start. All of the report is visible. It's not a drill down report, so we're going to get this information that we can see here within the HTML viewer. All right, so I'll go in here and select MHTML Web Archive. And then I have the option to save the report. I can select Save As. I can't directly open it. I have to save it to a location. If I just select Save, by default it's going to go to a Downloads location because I am within Internet Explorer. And so wherever the default location that you have set within Internet Explorer, that's where it's going to download to if I select the Save option. I want to use Save As. And I have this junk folder here that just is a place for me to put things as I work with them. So I'll save that. And then I get the option to open it. So I can open it. I can open with, if I want to open it with a different browser. I can open the folder. I can also view downloads. So I just want to go ahead and open it. And that'll open it up in a second tab. Okay, so Internet Explorer restricted the web page from running scripts or ActiveX controls. So I'm pretty sure that's just stuff that is built into MHTML. So I'm going to allow the block content. I know where this report is coming from. I designed it myself. I put it together myself. I'm pretty sure there's no malware within it, so pretty safe. Okay, so as you can see now, I can scroll down here. Notice that I have a soft page break there, and then I can continue to scroll down. So it's a different look and feel as the HTML report. I can come back over that here. I have this navigation toolbar. If I scroll down, I only get so much of the form. Here, all of the pages are saved within the single MHTML document. So the resulting document is pretty much static, and what you see is what you get. Reporting services inserted those soft page breaks, and I showed you those horizontal lines across the entire width. And so you can scroll down through this report. Very basic kind of a format. The next rendering format that I want to talk about is Microsoft Word. When you export a document to Word, you'll end up with an exported file with the extension .docx that's supported by Word 2007 and later. The nice thing about exporting to Word is that you can then format the report, easily add pictures and explanatory text, and do anything else that you can do with a modern word processor. Now, if you want to export Word documents in the .doc format for use in Word 2003 or before, well, actually, even current versions of Word support that format, then you'll need to install the Microsoft Office Compatibility Pack for Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, which you can download from Microsoft. You'll also need to modify the settings in rsreportserver.config in order to enable the older extension. And as I mentioned earlier, the information about how to do that is online. Just search for it in Microsoft. All right, now the Word export document has limited support for interactive features in the original report. So hyperlinks and actions are preserved and should work. Actions are essentially customizable links that support going to another report, including bookmarks or a URL. Because actions are set using an action property in report elements, you can use an expression to customize the action based on the report content or external states. So you have some very flexible ways to customize your links within a report. Document map. This doesn't become part of the document, but the renderer creates Word table of contents labels for the destination locations, but doesn't build the table of contents for you, doesn't add it to the document. But then you can easily just build the table of contents using Word's features. And that's located on the References tab if you've not used that feature within Word. The resulting Word document doesn't retain the ability to toggle the visibility of parts of the report. If the report is a drill-down report, you'll have to expand the sections of the report that you want visible in the Word document before you export the document. The document also doesn't have support for dynamic sorting, so you're stuck with the sort order of the report when you export it to Word. You can, though, use Word's rather limited sort capabilities, as you can with any Word document. So all is not lost if you need to change the order of the data. Report page headers and footers are converted to document headers and footers within the Word document. That's a feature that Word supports. But those items' height properties are not retained. But otherwise, the overall page dimensions are preserved from the report, although the maximum width within Word is 22 inches. Another difference is that Word uses tables to contain and position various report elements. The renderer uses a single cell in the table to contain text boxes, rectangles, and static images for every graphic element, things like charts, data bars, and sparklines. So the overall structure of the report is probably going to change if you've done a lot of complex things in order to lay out things nicely on a report. So that's a prime example of a place where if your users are going to commonly export your report to the Word format, you're going to want to test it yourself just to make sure that the document is usable for the users. And then the Word document retains most images from the report, but doesn't include the background images in the report body. So big caveat right there. All right, for this exercise, I want to use the drill down report. Right there. So there's a report. Now again, this is a report where not all sections, where not all data of the report is visible when you first load the report. A design decision of the report builder, me. All right, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to expand this a couple places, drill down into England, the only country there, and expand a couple cities. Go to Lancaster. I was there recently. Always nice. And then Oxford, and I'll just expand the United States, but not drill down into any of the cities. Okay, so there's the report. There's the visible data within the report. I'll come over here to the Export button and select Word. It then re-renders the report. Not sure why that happens. Now in this case, I'm just going to directly open it so you can see what it looks like within Word. I could save it if I wanted to, and generally users are going to want to save it. Now, in order to do this, if you want to follow along at home, you do have to have Word or a Word viewer installed on your machine. There has to be some default association for .docx files that you have installed. All right, in this case, I have Word open, and Windows, apparently, I have new apps that can open this type of file. That's great. Okay, I downloaded this from the internet, so Word is very helpfully telling me that, warning me about that. So now I have the full version of Word. And so here's the report. So notice if I select on this, it is a table. Okay, and so I can modify the table as I want. Notice very specifically, I want to emphasize this point, that the drill down capability, that interactive feature of the report, doesn't come into Word. So what I saw in the report before I exported it is what I got. So all of these other cities, all of which have at least one company, don't have anything displayed here. It's implemented as a table. The companies that were visible when I exported the report are still visible. And if I scroll down here, the United States was expanded, and so I can see the states. And the nice thing here is that I can at least see the number of companies within each state. So from here, I can go ahead and format this. Maybe I don't like the colors. I can use Word's capabilities to change the colors, change the font, change the print orientation, margins, whatever I can do in Word now. This is just a regular old document.